Welcome to Hero Villains. Thank you for always watching and supporting the channel. Who will win in a fight between DC's Bane or Marvel's Luke Cage Powerman? Luke Cage, who was once a victim of the system, underwent a scientific experiment in prison. As a result, he possesses super hard, almost impenetrable skin, a super durable body, and superior strength. He can lift tens of tons, punch through concrete, and survive attacks that normal humans cannot withstand. Although he does not possess superhuman speed or complex fighting skills like ninjas, Luke is a giant melee machine, advancing relentlessly with limitless endurance. Bane is one of Batman's most fearsome enemies. Not just a muscular giant, he is a calm and intelligent strategist with a sharp analytical mind. Thanks to the Venom compound, Bane can increase his physical strength to unimaginable levels, allowing him to lift tanks and throw punches that can collapse brick walls. In addition, he is trained in comprehensive martial arts, making him not only strong but also a calculating fighter. Before we dive into the analysis, please click the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by clicking the bell icon. Thank you very much. To make this comparison as fair as possible, let's look at Bane in the post-Flashpoint New 52, since he's clearly stronger than his pre-Flashpoint post-Crisis version. Here are some of the greatest feats of strength and power he's performed while injected with Venom. An official DC guidebook, DC Comics. Anatomy of a Metahuman states that Bane can lift 15 tons while infused with Venom. Bane is the embodiment of pure physical strength, combining his peak physicality with the enhanced effects of the Venom compound. During a tense confrontation, he lifted a giant boulder over his head and launched it straight at Batman, accurately in a brutal throw. His punch was powerful enough to shatter a large chunk of rock, shattering it like glass under the force of the irresistible force. Bane also easily lifted and threw a regular car as if it were a harmless toy. He ripped open a steel-reinforced security door without encountering any significant resistance. Underwater, he was able to rip open a drainage grate, and in another impressive moment, Bane broke free from a 2,737-pound block of ice, a seemingly impossible feat. Mr. Freeze, a cold genius in both the literal and figurative sense, once claimed that even a perfect human being pumped with the highest dose of Venom could not escape a 1,500-pound block of ice. Yet Bane not only did it, he surpassed it. He was nothing more than pure strength honed in pain and iron will. He was more than just a strong man, he was a nightmare in human form. Every move Bane made was controlled destruction, a hurricane of muscle moved by cold reason. When he stepped forward, physical barriers were crushed, and he lifted a shipping container over his head. To put that into perspective, if this shipping container were 20 feet long, it would have an average shell weight of 2,050 kilograms, 4, 5, 1, 9 pounds, or a little over 2 tons. If it were 40 feet long, its shell weight would be 3,750 kilograms, 8,267 pounds, or a little over 4 tons. Even without the aid of the Venom compound, he still possesses a physical foundation. It is believed that prolonged exposure and use of Venom has completely transformed his physiology, causing his body to adapt and develop in a superhuman manner. When Venom is injected into his system, Bane's strength increases exponentially. However, that strength is not fixed and varies depending on the type of Venom, the dosage, and the injection. At times, he uses specially refined Venom threads and becomes virtually invincible. He is far superior to most other villains Batman has faced. He is far stronger than Killer Croc, who was once considered the Dark Knight's most formidable physical opponent. However, when Bane is put into the larger scale of the universe, the difference is immediately apparent. Compared to Superman, Bane is nothing more than a funny cartoon character from a children's show. Despite being the embodiment of ultimate power in the Gotham criminal world, he is completely outclassed by planetary-level entities. While a man like Batman, despite his intelligence and skill, can still hurt him through tactics and weapons, for Superman, taking down Bane is a simple task. So the New 52, Bane has shown his best strength when he was praised on Venom. Bane is one of the most dangerous and complete opponents the underworld has ever seen, with violence and life-or-death situations. There have been times when blades have been stabbed straight into his flesh, but he has continued to move forward without showing any signs of wavering or weakening. In a fight with Azrael, he withstood the scorching heat from a flaming sword for long enough to continue his counterattack. Bane even survived a fall from a vertical cliff landing on his body and quickly getting up as if the fall was just a failed warm-up. In a truck accident that resulted in a huge explosion, he was trapped inside as the fire consumed the entire steel frame. But when the fire died down, Bane still walked away without any significant injuries. In another incident, he fell from the height of Wayne Tower, hitting the concrete wall below, but remained conscious and acted normally, without being stunned, without breaking any bones, and without even needing resuscitation. Bane was also attacked by Batman with a taser while standing in an environment of water, where the current could spread and cause serious damage. But instead of collapsing, he ignored the electric shock. He has been confirmed to have absorbed electric shocks of up to 50,000 volts at 2 amps, an extremely dangerous level for any normal person. What makes Bane truly terrifying is not just his muscles or indestructible flesh, but the superior intelligence hidden behind his strong appearance. He possesses a vast knowledge base that includes science, history, medicine, geology, and many other academic fields. His intellect is not only sharp, but also cunning, full of schemes and incredible manipulation skills. Compared to famous warriors like Diana, Bane is even considered more cunning and dangerous when it comes to strategy and deception. He is only behind masters like Batman, Nightwing, and Mr. Miracle. Every step he takes is a perfect combination of tactical calculation and raw power. Bane is not just a warrior, he is a cold strategist, a ruthless thinker, and the embodiment of what is most terrifying when intelligence and power coexist in a single body. I really hope you subscribe to the channel, it will help us a lot, and moreover, you will see great videos every day. You are the best. Thank you very much. Let's take a look at Luke Cage, specifically the Marvel Canon Earth 616 version. This is his best display of strength without any enhancements at all. He grabs the bottom of a plane and prevents it from taking off. This plane appears to be similar to a Boeing 737 passenger jet. Assuming that, the plane would have a standard weight of 41,413 kilograms, 91,300 pounds, or 46 tons. Since this plane is taking off with passengers on board, its takeoff weight would be significantly higher at around 80,000 kilograms, 176,370 pounds, or a little over 88 tons, easily lifting a bulldozer over his head in a fit of rage and throwing it several feet away. While the exact model here isn't given, I can guess that, from its size, it's a large bulldozer. From there, vehicles in this category can weigh anywhere from 27,216 to 68,039 kilograms, 60,000 to 150,000 pounds, or 30 to 75 short tons. Lifting and carrying a tractor trailer 7 city blocks without any problems, along with ripping off the trailer's rear doors afterward. Most tractor trailers with empty trailers have a standard weight rating of 15,876 kilograms, 35,000 pounds, or 17.5 short tons. If the trailer is loaded with cargo to its maximum legal capacity in the United States, this would increase the truck's weight to 36,287 kilograms, 80,000 pounds, or 40 short tons. Because this tractor was loaded with weapons that did not exceed the maximum carrying limit, Luke Cage could easily carry a weight that was higher than the weight of an empty tractor. Luke Cage was unstoppable, combining superhuman muscles with impenetrable skin. He single-handedly opened a giant stone door without any assistance, as if he was just pushing a rotten plank. His ability to handle physical pressure was at its peak when he smashed a sturdy stone golem to pieces with just one decisive punch, causing the opponent's entire body to explode into dozens of pieces as if crushed by a giant sledgehammer. And in the dramatic battle with Proxima Midnight, the impact force from the two sides' exchanges was so strong that it created a small earthquake, the ground shook, and stone fragments flew everywhere as if there was a local explosion. Luke's durability extends beyond his ability to withstand blows from superior opponents, as demonstrated when he was shot by a bazooka while standing next to a tank. The explosion severely damaged the tank, but Luke was completely unharmed, not even a scratch on his steel skin. He also survived a fall from the 14th floor of a building, hitting the ground with enough force to create a crater. Instead of being knocked unconscious or breaking any bones, Luke simply got up with a few wobbly steps, demonstrating the strength of his skeletal and tissue structures. The peak of his endurance was when mindless Hulk, one of the most feral and powerful beings to ever exist, punched him through 4 consecutive skyscrapers. Despite being blown away like a living artillery shell, Luke survived. He was only knocked out for a brief moment, but his body was completely undamaged, something that even other superhumans would have difficulty doing. His incredible steadiness was when the Green Goblin threw a pumpkin bomb, a high-damage weapon with tremendous explosive power and temperature. Luke caught it in midair with his bare hands and threw it back, neutralizing the threat without flinching. Every action, every step of Luke showed a kind of quiet power, where strength and determination became one, forcing anyone who confronted him to be wary. Luke Cage. In a direct confrontation with Carnage, a brutal symbiotic entity said to possess strength superior to Spider-Man and Venom when combined, Luke survived a series of melee attacks. In specific contexts, Spider-Man can easily lift a train car off the ground, turn a military tank around, and even hold up the entire fuselage of a commercial airliner. Meanwhile, Venom, even in his weakened state, can still lift a theme park ride, showing that his physical potential is far beyond superhuman standards. Yet Luke has taken direct punches from someone stronger than both of them and remained standing. In one intense fight, Luke was knocked off the ground, flew a long distance, and landed on the roof of a tall building. When he got up, his shirt was slightly torn, and his only reaction was a groan of ouch, as if he had been pushed into a wall rather than hit by a murderous alien entity. The peak of that endurance is clearly shown when he was thrown into a building by the Thing, one of the characters with the most terrifying physical strength. The entire structure collapsed on top of Luke with a loud bang. However, not only did he escape from the rubble, but the Thing also punched him to the top of another building. Despite being repeatedly attacked by enough force to crush thick steel, Luke still managed to stand up, as if the entire battle was just a minor incident on a hot afternoon. Luke Cage's ability to withstand blunt force has been proven through countless impressive feats. And perhaps Luke's most notable feature is his impenetrable skin, which is considered a natural, impenetrable biological armor. Luke had endured a barrage of rifle bullets fired at him from close range, yet his skin showed no signs of damage. There was no blood, no scratches, and most importantly, he stood still, unresponsive, as if the bullets were just light raindrops hitting him. Even when the enemy used Teflon-coated bullets, a type of bullet specifically designed to penetrate high-grade bulletproof vests. Luke survived a direct sniper shot from a distance, the bullet coming at him at extremely high speed and with great penetrating force, enough to kill anyone. However, for him, the shot only stopped at the level of slightly shaking his shoulder. In another case, he was shot with a high-powered shotgun. The bullet not only had strong penetrating power, but also carried such a great force that it threw Luke's entire body several meters into the air, hitting the ground with a deafening bang. However, when the dust settled, Luke still stood up as if he had never been attacked. He entered the battle with the composure of someone who knew for sure that nothing could harm him. In a world where ammunition and weapons are increasingly advanced, Luke Cage exists as a paradox, living as if he were the new definition of the word invincible. Once again, the advantage is overwhelmingly in Luke Cage's favor, and this time it's indisputable. When it comes to endurance and durability, Luke not only outclasses Bane, he completely overpowers him. Luke has survived situations that would have put even the toughest of opponents under. He has survived direct hits from superpowered beings like the mindless Hulk and still managed to get back up. These are the kinds of forces that, if directed at Bane, would instantly pulverize his body into a mass of pulp and broken bones beyond recognition. While Luke can withstand attacks as destructive as a military explosion, Bane is still within range of tactical weapons and extreme physical strength. A being like the Hulk can deliver a direct punch with enough impact force to collapse structures within a few hundred meters. There is no evidence or data to suggest that Bane could survive such a blow. Even surviving a few hits from the likes of Killer Croc is considered a significant achievement. But that doesn't put him on par with Luke Cage, who can take blows many times more powerful and continue to counterattack as if he were unharmed. Luke has demonstrated extreme resistance to force in his encounters with planetary-level beings. This is simply beyond Bane. He is a perfect warrior in the human world, but Luke is a force of nature in human form. The undeniable fact is that if someone like the Hulk were to take the initiative to attack Bane, the only thing he would be left with is a broken man. To be honest, at this point, the physical characteristics between Bane and Luke Cage seem to be that the power balance is too clear. If Bane were to throw a full-force punch at Luke, the most realistic thing that could happen would be that his hand would shatter at the moment of impact. The joints would be crushed under the recoil pressure from Luke's super durable skin, and instead of causing damage to his opponent, he would be the one to suffer the consequences. On the contrary, when Luke responded with a single punch, a single blow from Luke could shatter the structure of Bane's skull, even turning brain tissue into liquid due to the shockwave. This is not an exaggeration, but a direct result of a confrontation between two completely different physical levels. Bane is a powerful warrior in the crime world, who can break trained bodies like Batman with skill and strategy. But in a fight with Luke, those skills become useless. No strategy is effective when your punches cannot penetrate your opponent's skin. The harsh reality is that Luke Cage is not an opponent that Bane can read or analyze to exploit weaknesses. He has no holes in his physical defense structure. Every blow from him carries a destructive force of a superhuman level. When the gap between offense and defense has become so absolute, all tactical factors, physique, or experience are just side details that have no practical meaning. Seriously, and without exaggeration, Bane has a chance to hold his own against Luke Cage in a direct fight, if Luke himself decides to restrain himself too much. That is, he actively reduces his strength, allowing Bane to throw a few attacks just to experience the feeling of being hit or simply to kill time. Bane, despite being an excellent fighter and a veteran strategist in the criminal world, was completely unequipped to face an entity like Luke Cage. He had no weapon strong enough, no punch powerful enough, and no biological durability enough to withstand a single counterattack from Luke. Luke simply stood his ground, delivered a single punch, and the nightmare was over. Without a doubt, Luke Cage was the absolute winner. Not because Bane was weak, but because he was facing a force that far exceeded the standards of any ordinary warrior. So, I hope you enjoyed this fight. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments.